making another Pioneer video today. I played Pioneer, yes, this hand's terrible. Fascinating because I have both World Spine Wurm and Xenogoth God of Revels in my opener, meaning I don't have a combo in the deck. This is a reasonable hand. I can play slow. Hopefully Spikefill Hazard's good here. But yeah, these three are kind of what you're playing for in this matchup. Just got back from a Pioneer RCQ in Phoenix. I played mono green there, and I played against this deck, which is blue-red Indomitable Creativity. And I wanted to try it out, see how it was. I beat the guy, but he was... the deck was very cool, so I wanted to see how it worked. So if I try I would guess me and my opponent's playing a mid-range pile with a bunch of crap in it. Thoughtseize is fine. Oh, taking my best card. Interesting strategy, opponent. I'm going to play my Mutavault so it's not Summoning Stick in case I need to attack for some reason, and I don't want to play my Riverglide Pathways because I need as many red sources as I can get in this deck, so I might have to, I think the longer you wait to decide what color you're related better. This guy is just really something. So I played Black-White Tokens for a little while, and I thought the deck was really neat, but it needed Fable in it, and it appears this young man has gone the extra step to just play Black-White Tokens with Fable, or we'll see what it is, but I think he could be playing just a pile of good cards over there. I have my option of 3 big scores or a Mutavault. You don't think a big score. All right. Thanks, Magic Online. So big score is, the combo in this deck, weirdly enough, is big score, Indomitable Creativity. Because the score gives you more cards, and it lets you shuffle your World Spine Dragon back into your deck. World Spine Man, I forget his name. I'm going to kill this right now. I'm not sure. What could he have? I'm going to do it now. I just don't want to deal with his mess. I don't think I want this Spikefield. Look at that. Rewarded instantly. Get Thoughtseized. Lose the game. That's my plan. He plays a creature with 1 toughness, and I put my 1 damage spell on the bottom. Still feels smart. Maybe I should have waited, all right? Oh, no. He tricked me. So this is Mardu Greasefang, and this absolute cretin, this low-down, cantankerous man has made me think he was doing something else. Interesting deck. I'm excited to see it. It's going to have to be 5-colored. No, it's not, because Greasefang's not. I'm dumb. So I get to play this. And weirdly enough, if my opponent does not present 14 toughness on his turn, untapped, I can let the Parhelion combo happen because I can just kill him with the creativity on my swing back. Mute. I'm not muted. All right, he's cycling that one. So he's not going for the Greasefang combo. The question is, does he have something that can, I guess Leyline Binding is good, but he doesn't have all the card types. Okay, so he's tapped out. I'm clear to go for the combo on my turn, so I'm just going to instep big score, and I'm going to discard. I need the 5th land, Indomitable Creativity for 2. No! So I drew World Spine Wurm, which means I have to wait a turn. I wanted to overreact there, but it really just means I have to wait. So I'm going to go ahead and kill this guy now, just because I don't want to let him untap and make a copy of something. Put World Spine on the... So that's one of the problems with this deck, is if you draw one of the combo pieces, you can't go off. So I would have my opponent dead if I did not draw exactly World Spine Wurm off my big score. Sure, bit of reunion. So I'm dead to a Greasefang, which is a little bit scary. I guess I probably should have not killed his Geeky and let him get an extra token as opposed to letting him kill me with a Greasefang here. Yeah, he's got to tap his mana the right way. This guy just had it. So I'm in a desperate way. I'm going to have to Impulse here and see if I find something to keep me from dying. This Greasefang. So still in main phase. Oh gosh. I can, let me make sure I have a main phase stuff. I do. So before he gets to the bring the Parhelion back, I'm going to kill his Greasefang. I get 1 more turn. And I think I have it wrapped up. Assuming I don't draw a Xenagos or I guess the World Spine Wurm's on the bottom, so I'd have to draw Xenagos. Yay, Steven. He's the best. Speaking of myself in third person. Best part of this combo is you get to yield through the turn. Auto targets and you just attack. Easy. Best MTGO combo. Opponent is playing 3-color Harass Me with Greasefang. I was in Phoenix yesterday playing Pioneer, and Greasefang was everywhere. I was playing mono green, which has a good matchup against Greasefang, but Greasefang's just one of those decks where sometimes they just have it. They Thoughtseize you on 1, play a Parhelion or whatever, Grizzly Salvage, get a Parhelion in the yard on 2, and then just kill you on 3. Or they do 3, and you can't really erase that. So I like these Rending Volleys to kill his rats, but nothing else. I don't know if that's right, because I think those might be too narrow. Disdainful Stroke Negate, nope. So my deck has a lot of weird cards I don't really like against him. I think I'm just going to have to play the same 60. I can negate his... I have the Make Disappears and Spell Pierce for his thing. I think the 60 might just be the right number. Or the 60 might be the right list. Negate's probably fine, because I can hit his Fables, but I still don't like it. I don't think it's great. What's he going to bring in against me? Probably something stupid that's a hate piece, and if I can answer those 3 things, not a problem. Perhaps I should bring in the Hullbrick. Oh, this hand. He seems to be a creature-based deck. This seems like something that I'm interested in. Voldaren Epicure is like the card, all of Magic, I want to kill. He's going to attack me for 19 turn, and nothing's going to happen. I'm gonna shock this in, because I would kill his... If he plays a Bloodtide Harvester, I would kill it on his turn. This deck is interesting. I think it's very similar to Rakdos, but with a Greasefang combo. If you have the Rakdos cards with the Greasefang payoff, I think you should probably be playing Maybe you have to play the Epicures to get the blood tokens to discard your Parhelions, but I think Epicure is just weak in this shell because you're not trying to sling them. Epicure got you for 1. You're trying to attack for 15 and then also play a card advantage game. Not wild about Epicure, but I suppose it has synergy with Blood Tithe, and you just got to do what you got to do. Thoughtseize? Sure, don't mind if you do. You can't see the Thoughtseize. My face, but I'm also taking up too much. Let me move me over there. So in step, he's done nothing. He took my creativity because he's a toxic guy, has a sad life. This Fiery Impulse, I'm just going to fire it off now because I don't want to hang around forever and die. I shocked that land in. I'm kind of obligated. So I have this. I have another Fiery Impulse that does 3 damage in case he tries to get squirrely. And the more I fill up my graveyard, I can dig through time earlier. Bitter Reunion. He could have a transformational sideboard, and maybe now he's more of a sacrifice deck than he is a Greasefang deck. I'm a sucker for transformational side. Second Thoughtseize. Real piece of work. Okay, sure. All right. Hopefully he plays a target from a Fire Prophecy so I can bottom something and draw a land. Fable would have been very, very good there if I'd had both the land to cast. Okay, I'm just going to kill this because I don't want to deal with it. I also want to draw a card. Yep, I want to bottom. Hi, Jordan. I'm filming a video. Bottom that big score because I don't think I'm very close to trying to show my opponent the combo side of this deck. Redrew the big score. Very lucky, very fortunate. So no lands for Steven. I'm just going to, I guess, end of turn Secrets of the Key. Kept a 2-land hand with some redraws. I feel like I got pretty opponent discarding just a Fable. I would have liked a second Fable if I was. You honestly don't need too much Deadly Dispute. I'm sorry. Very good. You don't need too much silly crap to get Parhelion in your graveyard. Between Fable and really just Fable and blood tokens, but you can get Parhelions in with some reliable means with this deck. You don't have to do silly stuff. I have AirPods in. I'm not listening to anything. I just couldn't hear anything. That was very weird. So as much as I'm drawing not enough land, it's a toxic. His family every day just sighs when he gets home. I don't think I care too much about this Thoughtseize. My hand is not good. He's taking a Fable because it does something. But gosh, I just need a second. Third land, I have a second. Never didn't have it. If I shock it in, I can draw a card and Fiery Impulse, which is something I'm interested in. I need to cash this clue in. AS. Or I can play my Elite Fire Prophecy and I would rather use my Fiery Impulse on his Reflection because the Fire Prophecy can help me bottom a combo piece if I draw it, and I haven't drawn it. But we both know. Bitter Reunion, this card, is another just reasonable way to discard cards that also gives your creatures haste. I'm sorry, what? And a natural 4th land? I don't know why people complain about this. So my opponent has scored a crispy 2-for-1 on me by having me kill both of his sides of it. I win. Sometimes it's too easy to be back again to beat someone else. I usually toss my opponents a hey, good luck in these matches, just so they know, I'm not upset. This hand is awful. It can't cast any of its spells and it has a combo piece in it, so let's get that out of here. I'm a little bit torn about what to bottom. Mutavault might be the worst thing. Impulse can let me find a land. I really don't want to, having the creativity, I don't know how good it is in the opener, because if you get Thoughtseize or if things happen, if the game goes fast, it doesn't do anything, and it's only a combo piece, but I have half the combo in my hand. I'm going to bottom the Mutavault and then regret it dearly when I don't draw another land. ASMR stream, Jared? Let me mute this, hold on. Opponent's playing Grazer, which means the only one deck he could be playing is Lotus Field. I went to Phoenix yesterday, John was playing Lotus Field, and the deck did well. Grazer is your best start. It's kind of weird because the deck, Grazer is basically time walk for this deck because you get to play an extra land, which is the only limitation on how fast your combo can go off. Opponent scrying for, I'm going to guess Lotus Field, called shot. Hopefully misclicks. Did not. Kept Lotus Field. Guy's really good. Do I want to draw a card or do I want to Impulse here? So I need to not die. I need to find a counterspell or something to stop his next turn. So I'm going to Impulse because I would rather find a Make Disappear. Also, let's just all talk about how unlucky I am, but still very talented for having no lands in the top 4 of my library, but thinking ahead enough to do this line here. All right, so I'm going to play, if I play a Stevens and I shock it in, I don't know what I gain, but I also don't know what I lose. I don't think that his deck is going to attack my life total in amounts of 2. I think he's probably going to draw his library and do 80 damage. If I had to guess, I think that these decks are using the Niv Mizzet Peer into the Abyss combination, but I'm actually not sure. So this is probably the Cycler. Vizier of Tumbling Sands, a lot of people cycle this dude. This one here. They cycle it to untap their land and net a mana and draw a card, which is good, but if you don't have the combo in hand, Vizier acts like a second copy of Lotus Field if you just pass the turn with it and it doesn't die. I would kill it because I do have this Fire Prop, and my opponent's very smart for just cycling it, but I don't think people do that enough. So Pour Over the Pages is his best card. He would like it very much if this card did not get countered, and I'm attempting to break hearts here. Outside Shot, I should have waited. He doesn't have 2 Lotus Fields, so it's hard for him to combo off in earnest, and he may have just drawn out the counterspell on one of his setup turns, which is really smart and really cool, because on his next turn, he can play a Thespian Stage, copy this thing, and then copy his Lotus Field, and then really, really go off. But let's just assume he doesn't have that and is not. I'm main phasing this to hit this tapped land. So now Now I am shields down. My opponent has a turn to play around perhaps Spell Pierce, but I think he knows I would have cast Spell Pierce last turn if I had it, so he might just have a free turn to go off. Temple of Mystery as his land drop is incredibly encouraging. It means that there's not a second copy of Lotus Field coming. And so he can do some stuff, but he probably can't kill me. And once again, I have assembled the old combination of Big Score and Indomitable Creativity, where if I just cast the Big Score on his end step, I can untap Creativity for lethal. And that's what I'm going to try and do. I do have a 2 cards in 48 that if I draw them, I'm going to win the game. Nope, lose the game and not win it. And let's see if that happens. So he's got this turn to go off. If he has it has to all start with the card called Thespian Stage, or a second copy of Sylvan Scrying. Yeah, sure. So he's going to have to go to hard mode. I don't think he has the mana plus land drops to go off. I got very lucky, because if he just had a Thespian Stage, or even at this point a second Lotus Field, I'm pretty sure I'm dead. So he got the stage. I would have gotten a Lotus Field here, big dog. No, this is better. This is better. He's right. This guy's been playing this deck. So I have to beat 1 colorless. I have to draw land. That's part 1 of step A. And then I have to beat 1 colorless mana. Nope, I don't want to cast that one. I want to cast it. I'm going to discard a Firecroft. Sure. Please God, not a World Spinal. Great. Things are going great. So I have to draw land here, which I obviously did. Sometimes you run pretty okay. I have 2 targets. I'm going to pay all my mana. It's all going to be red. And then I'm just going to yield through this turn. Can you beat a 30-30? I don't know what he could possibly have, but I'm ready. Yay, look at me. I'm so good. So I actually have sideboard cards to this matchup. I like Disdainful Stroke. I like all my counter spells. All of these are great. Mystical Dispute's great. Mystical Dispute, that's the same card. Hullbreaker Horror is cool. Narset's Reversal is cool. So the reason I'm sideboarding so many cards is because my opponent is faster than me at the combo. He can go off before I can. And so I'm going to take out because I don't think killing his creatures matters in the slightest. I'm going to bring all these boys in. And I think, guys, I might trim the combo and just play Blue-Eyed Control against him, because I think I can still beat him on account of me being incredible at the game. But I think if I bring in all these Shark Typhoons, I'll have a couple of Indomitable Creativities, so I can turn my Fable tokens or my Big Score men into Hullbreaker Horrors, but I'm just playing Blue-Red Control. I'm leaving in these Spikefield Hazards because they cost 1 and they always have a target, so they're easy. I can use them with Hullbreaker to bounce whatever he's trying to do, whatever silliness my opponent convinces himself to get up to. I think they have this sideboard pen on it for a reason. I don't know how much sideboard his deck has. I don't know. I guess I should say his sideboard is dedicated to combo pieces that he finds, and so he might not be able to bring too many cards. I'm going to keep this, and I'm just going to plan on Disdainful Stroking the first thing he casts, and just going from there. Him starting with Island is very poor and very fortunate for me, as I am the good guy. I wish I could have played that Spikefield Hazard tapped at some point, but there's not a real good spot to. Him having just blue mana is incredibly suspicious. Maybe these lands are just throwaway lands and he's going to slam his, he's just planning on slamming his Lotus Field and sacrificing him. But that's a very slow start for him and good for me. It is unfortunate that I have elected to take the slow control deck route in this matchup. Again, everyone cycles this. I might have held it. I might have tried to play it on my turn to make it so I only need 1 Lotus Field to go off. I guess he couldn't do it because he'd have to play... All right, maybe he's a future. If he untaps Lotus Field, this is a good start. I don't know what he could do from here, but pretty good. So Sylvan Scrying will be my guess is what he's going to try and cast here to set the combo up next turn. Now I can counter the Sylvan Scrying. Oh yeah, I think I'm going to have to counter that, because that's essentially a second copy of, and I really don't want opponent. And this Make Disappear has an expiration date on it that I'm happy to slide in underneath. I have 1 source of, so I'm going to keep up Mystical Dispute and Disdainful Stroke so I can counter whatever silliness this guy tries this turn. My buddy John plays this deck a lot, so I'm actually I know a lot about what it's going to try to do, and I think he's going to try to Hidden String, and I don't have to guess, but I get it. Because I think that's how this entire combo starts right now, is a hidden. So Thespian Stage is copying, 1 blue floating. Oh, he might just be content to set up for having a very good turn in a couple turns. Yeah, he is. So on instep, I'm going to Impulse, probably trying to find another land, or, I guess I just want the land, because I have a lot of counter spells. So next turn, he's going to put me to the test and see what I have, and having a second blue source. I would love to play that Spire Bluff now, so I can have access to more mana in the future. Having a second blue source is going to be pretty much the game, or it's going to come down to it. Is this a pour? It's an impulse. I'm going to let him have an impulse, mainly because I don't have a way to counter. Even if I did have a way to counter it, I'd probably let it go. So I could get greedy here. A lot of these decks play Emergent Ultimatum, which is a blue card. I could let him start coming off until the point that he tries to put an emergent ultimatum on the stack. Sylvan Scrying, I honestly, he could get another land, but at this point, mana, he's got a million of it. I don't really care. He's already made his land drop for the turn too, so he just could have nothing going on. All right, so if I draw, I would want to draw a land. I'm going to cycle a Shark Typhoon, and it would just be real cool if I could draw a land so as to creativity the Typhoon token into a Hullbreaker, and then still have a mana open. Red, 1. Yeah, so I can do this. I can have a mana open to Mystical Dispute a spell and return a spell to his hand. Is it too greedy? Because I have 2 counter spells right now. He's got 1, 2. What did he get with Sylvan Scrying? I didn't even think. He's got Thespia, so he's going to have infinite mana last turn. This Mystical Dispute is probably not the best card in my deck. Almost conceded. All right, so I'm going to get in a free attack for 2. There's an outside shot if he's got 3, 6, this one 7, he's going to go down to 2. He could still go off through my my Hullbreaker if I just return it to his hand. I'm going to try it because I'm feeling really greedy and a little stupid. Also, I like Hullbreaker Heart, and I just want to have one in hay, so we're going to do that real fast. So I have Mystical Dispute, he plays something blue to return a spell to his hand. I also have Spike Field to just return, I don't know if he's not blue, I can still get something, I can return a spell to his 6, 7, 5. So he might go play the Thespian Stage, try for a pour over their pages, and I can dispute the pour. And I think just not returning it to his hand. Yeah, I think so. I'm better off just countering the pour over the pages, not returning it to his hand, than I am the other way around. But I definitely get to put a clock on him this way. Okay, so this is very encouraging. If I get to have a turn, wow. What luck. An entire turn for Steven with his very own Hullbreaker Horror. So I'm going to start by attacking. So I think the game might be close to over. Maybe I should have sent the Mutavault in there so I could put it on exactly a 2-turn clock. 1, 2, so I have Disdainful Stroke, and then also Mystical Dispute. Yeah, that would have been real good. That would have been a smart play by an attractive man. And let me turn off his auto yield, see what he's got. He could be balancing it to my hand. Good. Cool. No, that's fine. That's not a big deal for me. I think that's pretty tight. Let's go Fable here. So I've got Mystical Dispute on a blue spell, and I've got Disdainful Stroke for a big spell. I got both of those up, and so that was pretty cool by him. And he's going to have a 3rd stage. So my soft permission is officially dead, unless I have to get it on the second way, unless something crazy happens. I couldn't recast the Hullbreaker here. Opponent has 10 mana and time to think and has gone with a Temple of Mystery. So opponent just might have a really, really poor hand, which is unfortunate, but sometimes happens that you just have nothing but crap. Hidden Strings. So he's starting the cycle here. I'm worried if I let him go, he's going to mess me up. So I'm going to make him pay for this to kind of hamper his mana production, because I think he's probably going to go for the Emergent Ultimatum here, which I can Disdainful Stroke, but maybe I should have waited. Maybe I should have let him have the Hidden String. We'll see. It depends on which route he's taking, because it could be, if he goes Leer, it says spells can't be countered, so I'm going to be happy that I cost him the mana now. So I think I'm okay with it. I'm content with doing what I did, yeah. This is Omniscience. It is Omniscience. So I think I can't win if he casts that. So I'm going to Disdainful Stroke it. There's a weird world where I don't stroke that. I let him do it. I counter the next spell he plays, and hopefully keep him from going off. But I just worry that would not happen and I would die. Is I guess the big thing. All right, so I'm going to discard 2 cards. It's going to be, yep, I'm going to discard this Hazard and then Expire Bluff. Okay. So opponent has 2 cards in hand and 11 mana to cast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8 mana and an Impulse. I might have just Impulse now because I kind of need to figure out what I'm drawing to. All right. I need to figure out what I'm drawing to before I start making plans. Because I could cast a Fable here. Mystical Dispute, I just don't know if it counters a spell. I'm trying to figure out the fastest way to get my opponent dead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to take the Shark Typhoon and cast it. Gosh, that's just poor. He has an entire turn of doing whatever. I need to take the Dispute because I need some sort of interaction. Casting the Typhoon doesn't do much for me. But this Fable of the Mirror Breaker gives me a second threat, gives me more mana, gives me more stuff. Gosh, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. He's got 11 mana. If he goes for one of his huge spells, which I imagine is what he has in his hand because he tried to cast freaking Omniscience last turn, I'm going to have to just pull the trigger, Mystical Dispute, whatever he's got, and hope. So I cited out all my combo pieces. It might have been better to just win the game rather than to play this back and forth mess with him for 50. Hovering, Vizier, sure. So he's going to try and combo off. Maybe he's just trying to draw a card. Did he already make his land drop? Yeah, he played Thespian Stage. So he's going to have a just tremendous amount of mana. And hopefully this Mystical Dispute slows something down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 8 mana. I'll have 10 mana on my next turn, which I get another turn. I'm going to attack these Goblin Shame emphatically. That means that I can both cast Hullbreaker and cast Mystical Dispute. I'm going to ditch this River Glide pathway. Am I? Yeah, I'm going to ditch River Glide because I should have enough mana. I am confident that I counted right, and there's no way I messed. Yeah. I checked and I did count right. So I can cast Hullbreaker and Mystical Dispute on a non-blue spell, and that should be enough to take me there. So opponent is not letting my Saga. He knows about the horror. I wonder what else he thinks I have. Hullbreaker is also not legendary, so I have my opponent dead after this turn if I cast the Hullbreaker and then copy it with Reflection. 3, 6, 9, 12. Opponent has 14 mana. If Emrakul was legal in this format, he could cast it. So I may not have pushed damage with the Mutavault as aggressively as I think that was a test to see if I would blow the Hullbreaker horror activation on putting the Geeky back in my hand, and I just don't think that's necessary. And so that does mean my opponent gets another turn of Magic the Gathering, but I don't think it matters too much. How much more do I have? Expensive creature, Hullbreaker horror. So I have 11 damage on, I think I have 12. So I'm going to activate my Mutavault and see if that, oh, that's great. I'm going to activate my Mutavault and see if I can just push through enough damage to make opponent concede, but he might have an Auto-War or something. Ah, that's it. I win. I've been on the play a lot today. I think this is the third match I've been on the play. And in combination with my overwhelming skill. This hand has all the hallmarks. This is basically a mulligan, but the Fire Prophecy means if I can find a target for it, I can keep it. I actually like this hand. Yesterday I played a bunch of Paper Magic, and sometimes you mulligan a hand. It's like, oh, I wish it was like 2% better, and you get two hands in a row with no lands, and just like you should have kept the first hand. And so that's what I'm doing today, especially because I have a way to ameliorate the fact that this is... I think I have other ways to discard the Worm too. Big Score discards the Worm, so it's not a huge deal. If you get Xenagos in your hand, you're kind of in a pickle. You either need Valakut Awakening or Fire Prophecy. Opponent's going down to 4. This might just be the old concede before the game starts matchup. Let's see if he wants to see what I'm playing first. Zagoth. Anything that's playing just Triome.deck, I am suspicious of. There's so many enigmatic incarnation piles. I guess a pile is the thing I want to play against least, because if the game goes long, we get into a massively grindy board state where I am probably going to make an error in calculation and die. Oh, let's go to Instep before I do that, huh? Kind of just want to slam my Fable, because I don't know what Homeboy's doing, but I'm guessing his 3-drop is not as good as my 3-drop, because my 3-drop's the best. I'm very short on red sources to cast Creativity, so I didn't pick it up there. I think almost always setting up with a Fable is going to be better. Let's see if he can make me pay on this turn 3 of his. What's the worst thing he could have for 3? This card? Okay, yeah, no, that's it. So I guess I discovered the worst thing that could happen to me there, and it's my opponent having that. Yeah, so I'm going to discard that one. And I don't think he's going to be playing a creature. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, yeah, he's going to try and cast something silly. I don't think this Fiery Impulse is going to do too much for me. Easy, through all this stuff. So I've got, this turn I'm going to want to cast 4 mana in spells, and I'm going to make a treasure token so I can try and kill my opponent on my next turn. What are the odds I need to make disappear? I no longer need to Fire Prophecy as aggressively, so I'm going to play this tap, and then I'm going to attack and make a treasure. And if it comes absolutely down to it, you know, my back's against the wall, knees weak, arms are spaghetti, I can sack this treasure token to cast my Fire Prophecy. I can also cycle my Shark Typhoon for 1. I have a lot of options. Smart guy over here. So what is the optimal play if opponent does nothing? I would like to have a way to have more mana next turn so that I can cast my Make Disappear in addition to my combo. So I'm going to cycle this and make a Shark Boy. Drew the Fire Prophecy right on time. Alright, so I have drawn the Xenagos on my combo turn, which means that the combo is no longer part of the strat for old Steven over here. Opponent has 3 cards in hand. My Fire Prophecy, I can Fire Prophecy and then do it again next turn. I think that's just the right thing to do. So I'm just going to play this, keep my shields up. I have a Make Disappear that I can counter something unless he pays 4. And I also have, I'm threatening a combo. Growth Spiral, sure. I'm guessing there's an Omnath, because you can Omnath to get a swamp to take Wooburg to play whatever this is. I don't know what you would play off a Widespread Thieving that's worth going down the card and casting it for Wooburg. Like, what spell is that effective or that impactful in Pioneer? Alright, still going to combat. My clock's not terribly fast. Hopefully hiding behind this Make Disappear does something for me. There's almost nothing on his turn that I wouldn't just counterspell. Another Ghost Spiral, sure. So I would guess this is an... I don't know why I'm trying to guess. I think I could just let my opponent cast his spells and then figure out what it is, but I'm worried I'm going to kill him before seeing what this cool new deck is. I'm going to have to Fire Prophecy one of my own creatures to put the Xenagos on the bottom. Second Widespread Thieving. Okay, so let's Fire Prophecy my Shark, the poor boy. If my opponent has a counterspell, it would be wise to try and counter this one on account of telegraphing that I'm doing something with it. Alright, so I think I'm going to kill both my creatures so I can leave my treasures back for the Make Disappear, which is unfortunate, but I think that's the best thing I can do in this situation. So he's drowning that in the lock. I have to make... He's drowning my... Dude, I have to, this is weird, but I should Make Disappear it before he gets the 2 treasures so he can't. So if he has a second counterspell in his hand after this Make 2 treasures things resolves, I'm kind of up the creek, but I think I might be good. Yay, Steven! He's the best. That was a match concession just because I waited for his treasure tokens to resolve first. Or wait, I responded to his treasure tokens. All right, fourth game, still on the play. Every single game. 2 creativity is a World Spine Worm and no way to put it on the bottom. No thanks on that. Again, I think the worst card in this hand is the Spikefield Hazard. I'm going to put a Fiery Impulse on the bottom. The hazard, gosh, I'm going to put the Spikefield Hazard on the bottom. Hopefully my opponent plays something that allows me to Fiery Impulse it at my discretion. I'm going to play this face up, not face up. I'm not going to discard it, but I'm going to play it in my opponent, the wrong nest. So I have, drawing that mountain means I can play this for blue and not worry about it because I have 3 red sources already. Is this the Rakdos matchup? Rakdos is kind of the scourge of the format, and I've often wondered how Indomitable Creativity stacks up against it. I'm going to take a Fable and slam it because I don't know what he's doing, but I kind of want to get going on the playing meaningful cards. Once again, I look like a genius for putting that Spikefield Hazard on the bottom. It doesn't seem like it's done too much here. Or would have done too much here. Fatal Push makes it look like it is Rakdos. Mayhem Devil, alright. So this is a Rakdos sacrifice pile. Let's get to discarding. I'm going to discard a Fiery Impulse and a pathway. Red. Yeah, I need a red and a blue source, so I'm going to shock myself. But that also means my Fiery Impulse is now alive. Gosh, so I'm going to play this. I'm going to kind of let my opponent see what he wants to do, because if he doesn't have something that kills me, I get to big score into creativity and just win the game. I think that seems pretty good. So I'm going to take a hit off this Mayhem Devil here because I really don't care. Please tap all your mana for something. Great. All right, so let's go for the end of turn big score. And I'm going to discard this Fire Prophecy. Fire Prophecy might have been a mistake. I probably should discard the Impulse. It costs 1. But if I draw exactly Xenagos God of Revels, so it still puts me a turn off of doing any of my things. All right. Okay, guys. All right, so I'm going to go with a Fable and Mirror Breaker here, and I'm going to kill one of these guys with a Fiery Impulse. It means that I still go off on the same turn. So I would have had to use 2 of my mana to put the Xenagos on the bottom, and then I wouldn't have had enough, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I wouldn't have had enough to Indomitable Creativity for the win. So it still is the same turn, but I just look very stupid for putting the Fire Prophecy into the graveyard before. So I'm afraid of his shenanigans, and I'm going to double block, because I think I have enough mana and enough tokens to not have anything go too wrong for me. Oh no, Fable just puts it into the graveyard. It doesn't put it on the bottom. Well, this is an entirely different calculation that I have to make. So he gets to take one of my things. I think he's going to take the Reflection, or he's going to try and get squirrely. So he sacked the dude for Village Rites. So he's going to draw 2 cards. That's fine. And then I think that there's nothing I would rather kill. There's no card in his deck that's more important than Mayhem Devil, so I don't want to get into second main and taking out more of my tokens. So something I have forgotten. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is it the Xenagos doesn't shuffle? So I need to somehow get the Xenagos back on the bottom of my library, or I just need to cast it. Sheldred the Apocalypse, you say? Not a big deal. I can answer that. Okay. So do I want to draw and discard? I don't think I do. All right. We're doing this on hard mode, boys. 2, 3, 5 Xenagos. So can my opponent kill me? I'm not going to attack for 4 into his 4, 5. That's fine. How much can my opponent do? How much can I survive? He's gonna have. He could put enough toughness onto board that my World Spine Worm doesn't kill him. But if I untap with, I'm glad I killed both those, or the Mayhem Devil's dead now because I'm pretty sure I'd be dead to that. I'm gonna have to block this. I can't allow too much silliness. I have a question of what I kill here, and I think it's going to be my treasure token, because I want the Reflection to block, and I also think he has more removal for a creature than he does for... I probably should have done it with 2 targets, honestly, so that if he kills one of them... I don't know what he has. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to give that Double Strike and Haste. I could have given the Reflection Haste and then made a copy of the World Spine Worm and then gotten a bunch of tokens, but no, that's enough. Okay, so I'm excited to play against this Rakdos pile. I think it's a cool deck to have to deal with. I think my deck is kind of set up to deal with it in the main. Again, it's one of those things where I don't know what I'm bringing in. Rending Volley has no answers. Narset's Reversal might not do too... I mean, it does something, but it's nothing great. Might take a Negate Spikefield. That's really the only change I'm going to make. I don't even think that's good. I'm just doing it because it gives me 3 minutes to sideboard. I should use it, I guess. So I'm on the draw. All these cards are good against my opponent, and I'm going to just die if I don't draw a second land. So I have to let that one go. All right, this is fine. I think I have both of the combo pieces in my hand. He's going to make me discard a card at some point in this matchup. I want to affect the board, so I'm going to put this big score on the bottom. No, I'm going to put the Indomitable on the bottom. I have fewer redraws, so there's only 4 Indomitables in the deck, and that's one of my combo pieces to win. But it doesn't do anything, and he's probably going to Thoughts. And so I don't want to lean on it too much, I guess I should say. I can play this tapped because I have nothing to keep up. Nothing to pretend I have. I could have had a bluff there, but I don't. So this is kind of fortunate for me. My opponent I drew the Hall of Storm Giants on the perfect turn too, because beyond that it would come into play tapped. My opponent hasn't done much. We'll see what he has. I don't know what hand he capped, I guess I should say, because his deck seemed like a low to the ground sacrifice deck, and he's not doing that. So I am worried that my opponent is going to slam a Shieldred here, and that would be very, very bad for me. Alternatively, if my opponent just waits, I think I have to counter Shieldred here, because I do need to dig for whatever combo piece with big score, and I can't afford for that to cost me a bunch of life. But if he keeps waiting, I mean, I have the land drops to make, fortunately. Hopefully I have more lands than my opponent does. This guy is so patient. So this turn, I kind of am not losing much if I just play my Mutavault, and then I leave up both big score. If he has nothing, I big score. If he has something, I make it. And then after that, I can start fabling with Make Disappear up. I don't know what I'm playing around this hard, because it might be I can just beat anything. Gosh, this guy is taking it slow. All right. Very clever of me to leave this Spikefield Hazard in, because it's the perfect thing to discard to big score. Negate up now. So I have my shields very, very up. I am behind a big score and a Make Disappear. No, excuse me, a Make Disappear and a Negate. And I think this is the turn to start trying to get ahead with my Goblin tokens. Opponent has 7 cards in hand. It's got to be a push. Not even a push. I wish I could see his hand. I have no idea what this man has. I don't think I care about that. If you can sack it to draw 2 cards, that's pretty cool. Make a treasure. That's very good. I just don't think I care. I think I'm going to negate that, because I don't know how many other spells he has for me to. I think I'm content to get that one. So I'm going to ditch these 2 lands and hope for a redraw. So let's play this. I have 8 mana to use. I could big score discarding Secret of the Key, which I think is probably the best line I could take. And let's see what Shieldred, the Apocalypse. Yep, I will make that disappear. I would not be surprised to see a Frustration concession here, because it kind of sucks. I don't know what his hand is. I think he's just drawn a very unfortunate combination of cards. Let's draw some cards with big score. And I'm going to discard Secrets of the Key. And I drew the Xenagos. That's always the way it goes. Okay, so my opponent has 1 mana to ruin my day, to absolutely make me hate myself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 10 mana. I need to Fire Prophecy. I'm going to have to Fire Prophecy my own Geeky. Is that greedy? I just think that I can probably kill him right now. Oh, I never think of this. I could have just played Xenagos. I could have just cast him 4 mana. And 5. Do you know what's very funny is I didn't realize I didn't have the, what's it called, in my hand. I just felt like I had it. I don't know why. Gosh, what a massive error. I'm glad I got that on camera, huh? All right. Okay, I'm going to tell opponent. I had one earlier, and I just forgot that I didn't have it in my hand. Probably should have played that. I could have played the Spire Bluff here, but I'm going to hold it to discard to the Fable next turn, because I need to dig for something on account of throwing my entire board away for no reason. So I'm going to impulse to see if I can find a way to answer this, because I don't want to get stuck under it, especially if I'm going to draw 2 cards. There's an Indomitable. All right, so I think that this, I played silly, but I got rewarded by just immediately finding the Indomitable Creativity. No thanks on that, big dog, because I also don't want to draw and accidentally pick up my, what's it called? One of my win conditions. I'm targeting 3 of my things, so that if he has a removal spell of some sort, I still get to do the creativity. I don't think there's anything he has that will, there's nothing he can do with 1 mana that'll keep my World Spine Worm from killing him. Yeah, I win.